Just before this episode, I want to tell you about another adventurous audio podcast series. Inside Forensic Science is back with an utterly intriguing historic murder mystery.
Westminster Gazette, August 31st. Sensational mystery in Scotland. Suspicious death of an English lieutenant.
A young man is dead.
And from my examination, I had no doubt that it was a gunshot wound.
So is it murder or a tragic accident?
The thing that worries me is that this poor guy was shot in the back of the head.
And why would anyone want him dead in the first place?
Didn't take too long to assess that there's absolutely something rotten in the state of Denmark.
Mishandled evidence, a chaotic crime scene, fraud, suspects who vanish into thin air.
We've got one witness who's actually washed the blood from the deceased.
This case has it all. Inside Forensic Science, the Ard Lamont Mystery, a podcast from the Leverhulme Research Centre for Forensic Science at the University of Dundee. Coming soon to wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, it's Ali here, salon director from the Head Gardener in Inverness. Talking about cancer is never easy, but unless we're open and honest about it, how can we learn from each other and, most importantly, support each other? Personally, I love this podcast. Every so often there'll be a little nugget that will just smack you in the face and you just think, whoa, right, that resonates. I think Pennie is an amazing storyteller. She's utterly honest and yes, sweary, but cancer makes you a bit sweary. I'm really proud to be the sponsor of Lump and I hope you get as much from it as I do. But don't forget to like it, rate it and share it. And over to Pennie.
A uniform to conform. I'm nervous about getting on the bus of my own. I never have before. There's lots to trip me up, single me out. Standing on the pavement outside our house, I'm exposed and vulnerable. My mouth tastes metallic, and I can't swallow it away. Kicking at the weeds, pushing through the cracks in the tarmac, I pray the bus appears soon. I stare down the hill to where the road opens out into the fens, both willing it to lurch round the bend, and a little bit hoping it won't. I'm still too young to realise that not having exactly the right change for the bus isn't a crime. I don't know that if I have to sit next to a strange-smelling old man or woman, or worse still, a slightly older kid from my school, the world won't actually end. No one does die of embarrassment. But I don't know this yet, so I might. It must have been the spring or early summer of 1982. I picture it as late May. The field beside the bus stop will be shot through with green, the weather mild and the days long. I'm now allowed to cycle the 2.5 miles across the fields to school on my own, so I will have rushed back in time to get this bus, pedalling furiously down Gatehouse Road, no-handers. It must be shortly after my 12th birthday, or I wouldn't have money to spend. Far enough away from the start of my first year at secondary school the previous September for me to be able to argue that my clothes should be changed, augmented, for me to take greater ownership of what I wear. Far enough into secondary school for me to have formed friendships, found a tribe, and now be desperate to conform, to look like everyone else. Important enough for me to want to spend birthday money on new school clothes in order to fit in. That was where happiness lay, in fitting in. This memory surfaces as I try yet again to understand the world from my daughter Bee's point of view. We're in town trying to find her a winter jacket. She's been resisting this trip for weeks. Even now, she drags her heels and refuses to put any energy into the exercise. She seems embarrassed to be with me, pulling her hoodie over her head, ducking if she sees another kid roughly her age. I struggle not to take it personally. After pointing to endless jackets and receiving endless eye rolls, my patience is thin enough to spit through. What exactly do you want then, given we're not leaving without a jacket? I say through gritted teeth. Something black and plain and boring, exactly the same as everyone else. Something which will go unnoticed. She pushes back. This desire of B's to disappear unsettles me. I don't like that she wants to be so anonymous, blended. I don't let this go. I feel a need to persuade, educate. So, although I'm intensely irritating when I do this, I slide the subject up under my skin and over the next coming days keep returning to scratch at it. It doesn't matter what other people think, I say as we're driving to a piano lesson the following week, and she's telling me about the endless dramas of the school day, girls backstabbing and bitching. If they treat you like that, then their opinion is worth shit. Don't give them the power to upset you. You don't understand, B comes back at me, her frustration leaching out of every syllable. It's a phrase I hear so often, I'm starting to consider whether it should be chiselled into my gravestone. I need them to like me. It's all I care about. No. I'm adamant she should understand that conformity, the opinion of others, how you look, all belong in the big bin bag of life. Be different, individual, be yourself. But the harder I try, the more she digs in. We're passionately at odds here, B and me. Even when we're not together, I can't help giving it another itch to see if it will yield more insight into why it pisses me off so much that she cares about things I think shouldn't be cared about. I think this goes deeper than just an adult's perspective on a pre-teen's woes, but I can't figure it out. I wake at 5 in the morning, and it's the first thing I turn to, a shadow by the bed, but when I look, it vanishes. It's permanently on the tip of my tongue. I keep reaching for a resolution, but it always remains vague and out of touch. Perhaps the changes that hitting 50 and surviving cancer has wrought in me work exactly in equal weight and opposition to the changes that happen when you edge across that crevasse between childhood and teenagehood. Is that it? Is that what's eating me? There is just one bus an hour, and I've worked out if I time it right, I can make the 20-minute trip into Cambridge, run to the shop before it shuts, buy what I'm after, and still manage to make the last bus home in time for tea. It's tight and a gamble, and for my 12-year-old self it feels huge and risky. But it's a calculated risk, and the reward, conformity, matters this much. I must have been exactly the same age as B is now. Strange, I can remember so clearly what seems now like such an unimportant act, the act of getting a bus into town on a school night to buy new clothes. I can only think it lodged in my memory because at the time it meant so very much. It's the emotionally charged stuff that lingers. And now my brain has pulled it to the front of my mind because there's a lesson in it for me, a reminder of how, when you're 12, things matter a lot. At 12, you sweat the small stuff. At 50, I'd like to think I've got pretty good at sorting out the wheat from the chaff, the things that matter from the things that don't. I've become an overnight expert in plucking out certain aspects of my life to fling casually into the don't give a shit pile, which is good, because I think the before cancer me probably clung to the inconsequential like a hoarder. But B's desire to conform has quite suddenly found me wrong-footed. I play a game of personal devil's advocate, go straight in for the killer question. OK, Pen, if you're so good at not caring what other people think, not conforming, why did you get a breast reconstruction? I remember distinctly my surgeon saying I needed to ask myself why I wanted to go that route, so here I am again, asking it again. Casting my mind back is difficult, because all my decisions are distorted by the consequences of that choice. Surely I got a reconstruction because I wanted to blend, be like everyone else, disguise my difference. And that mattered enough for me to risk having a piece of my back pulled through to the front of my body in order to form a new breast. Then, in the face of my reconstruction not being terribly successful, small and odd-shaped, I go and get fitted for a prosthesis, presumably, so I can look normal, so I can fit in, secure a uniform, so I can conform, fashion my own version of a black, boring winter jacket. Ouch. This realization is massive. I'm shocked by it. I thought I was somebody different. Thought I didn't mind being rearranged and changed, but clearly I do. Flush with the success of navigating the bus and bus fare and other passengers, I ran, arriving a scant 15 minutes before it closed for the day. I can't remember the name of the shop. Something beginning with A, maybe? Something faintly exotic. But I can picture it. 3 doors up from Tammy Girl and the Wimpy, next to the fabric shop. I forage among the cheap nylon, overly bright shirts and elasticated waisted skirts, cloaked in the smell of spicy, musky foreign imported clothes. Cambridge University sweatshirts rub shoulders with tie-dye bags, metal bangles that turn your wrist black, burgundy woven scarves shot through with silver thread. I haven't considered that what I'm looking for might not be in stock. I've come all this way. I'm childish enough to believe the importance of that act is enough to ensure success. It will be there. It has to be there. And it was. A navy blue single-tier rah-rah skirt and a cheap, never seen a sheep in its life, navy V-necked knitted tank top. The next day I wore my new clothes and happily merged into the crowd of other first-year girls, all wearing the same skirt and jumper. Mission accomplished. The next time I leaned towards lecturing B on the worthlessness of conformity, and have the nerve to vociferously argue that other people's opinions don't matter, I hope I remember that young girl in her rah-rah skirt and tank top, and this much older woman busy stuffing a fake boob down her bra to make her more normal. Even though I know to the core of my being that the people I love and care about, and who care about me, couldn't give a toss how many boobs I have, and of what size or shape. It turns out the only real difference between B and me is that she openly admits that fitting in and being liked matters. I have the distinct suspicion I've been dressing up my own conformity as something else. Lump is sponsored by Ali McCritchie and the fantastic team at the Head Gardener Hair Salon in Inverness. Without them, it simply wouldn't be possible, so a massive thanks to them for all their support. If you like Lump, make sure you tell the team when you're next in the salon and they'll give you a free gift. Coming up in the next episode. Strange how your world can spin on one split second, a fraction of a point in time. One moment I was one person, the next another. Just like that. Lump is written and presented by me, Pennie Stuart, and produced by Adventurous Audio.